Hello, my beautiful friends. Marie Wallace here, and I have my lovely Reverend friend, Joe Costa Tineo. So, hi, thank you for
Thank you.
coming.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, you are going to love my sweet, dear spirited friend, and she has a lovely gift for us today. She is a massage therapist and Reiki master holistic health practitioner, and she has her own founded her own business called Casa Healing. Did I say that right?
Correct.
Nice. And what I love about Jocasta is that she uses multiple healing modalities and tries to you integrate spiritual practices within in a holistic, so connecting the inner and outer, and those are always more productive in my own opinion. So, and she also integrates learning about that holistic and mystic healing practices. So you'll learn that she has many, many gifts, and she's just sharing one tiny tool that from her big tool bag. And I just appreciate you coming today and sharing with my dear, lovely friends. And again, thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having me. So yeah, I am. I began my practice a few years ago, but um, ever since I could remember, like I've always been interested in learning about nature, natural cycles. Um, a pastime was always like staring into the night sky and looking at stars and kind of always wondering like what lies beyond the boundaries we're within. Um, and it was mostly in college where I basically was exposed to different forms of thinking, different theories, philosophies. I personally just undergoing my own healing journey and understanding the way that I relate to others, the way that I relate to the world, how I've been relating to my family, what things needed to shift. And I can't really pinpoint any specific moment, but I do remember my last year at college kind of realizing that I wanted to pursue healing arts and whatever that meant. And that's exactly how I was. I was like, I'm not sure what this is, but um, it really resonated for me. And I was blessed to have community, right? Other older Dominican women that were able to guide me, kind of point me in a certain direction. And then from there, I kind of followed and took the turns that I needed to take down that path. Um, and I ended up going back home to Dominican Republic where I learned about nutrition. I was initiated into Reiki. I had my own sort of coming of age of sorts. Became aware of traumas that I've experienced that I didn't remember, um, compounded with, you know, relationships that needed to shift, with reclaiming process, things I needed to kind of accept. Um, and sometimes that could be very icky and very difficult. And for sure, I leaned in movement practices and embodied practices, which for me, embodied is taking, for example, a concept like love or truth and embodying it. Like, what does that feel in your body? Or even something like fear, right? And sitting with fear. Where do I feel that? Is it here? Is it here? Is it in my gut? Like, where am I holding? Where am I clenching? Um, as a massage therapist, we literally work with literally bringing blood and fluids into tissues in the body that are lacking. And when things are lacking, when blood isn't flowing or vital force energy is not there, then there's pain, right? So in essence, pain is asking you to look at it. And oftentimes that's not what we want to do with pain.
No, not
So
exactly.
it was the perfect kind of thing for me because in the process of learning and being of service, I was also serving um, my own needs, right? Because the way that I grew up and the way that I was conditioned to as a woman, I feel like it happens to a lot of young girls. I have a daughter myself, and I'm also very mindful of, you know, what she's thinking and how she's formulating her thoughts and ideas and where she's getting the information from. So, as women, we sometimes are kind of conditioned to not care for ourselves, or to take care of everything else before we address our own needs. And in that way, I've started to use this phrase a lot where I say I'm a people pleaser in recovery. So
Oh,
the
yeah.
acknowledgement that, like, yes, there are parts of me that are very much about not wanting to upset people or hurt people or, making sure that everything's okay, but at the same time, like, again, with boundaries, where is there a line, or is there even such a thing as a line, or is it more like a wave
Mm.
of where we acknowledge our own needs and we honor, the needs of that person we're in relationship with, or that concept we're in relationship with, or that practice we're in relationship with, whatever what that is. Um, so yeah, I'm very fortunate, feeling very grateful to be in this field. It's something that I hold very dear and sacred. It's something that's becoming more popular now. Self-care is a thing. And it's important for me to kind of note, even with my clients, that because people sometimes confuse it, right? Like self-care and making sure that it is not divorced from community, that it's not divorced from its socio-political, cultural, like, origins as well, because it's something that is done for yourself and again, within community. Um, yeah, I don't know if you have any specific questions, because I can spiral
No, that was
about
beautiful.
a bunch of different things.
I could listen to you for a long time. I think that you interwove so many beautiful concepts all together. I loved the curiosity and the exploration that got you to this point. And I think that's one thing that got me into this where I am as well, is the healing is a multitude of ways to bring that healing in. One, because we're beings that love diversity and I think I can't remember the word, that one of the 6 human needs is having variety, right? And so having this huge, huge amount of tools available brings in that in. And then when you weaved in how you use your own healing and how that works with others, because we are all interconnected, and how important it is to bring into the community. The other part is self-care is not about the bubble bath, because that's where self-care first started. It's integrating our spirituality and our physical being as well, and bringing it all in together. And so that was beautiful to hear about. And then the journey of with you and your daughter, just being mindful of how we are all exposed, because our children usually are those ones that are bringing our awareness to different things, like, where did you learn that, and how did,
Yeah.
and then having those conversations and not being afraid to have those conversations. But also the other part that I loved that you talked about is in it, actually acknowledging the pain, because this is what I love about you too, is that you put these things into metaphors that we can get and understand. And that was when you were talking about massaging and all of that, bringing blood into, I'm probably not
No,
saying it
it's
as eloquently as you, but what I have in my head is this blood is going to the pain point and nourishing and giving it healing properties. I don't even know if
mhm,
I'm even saying that right,
mhm.
but I feel that way, that sometimes we do not want the pain, and it's only going through the pain and acknowledging it that we get to that healing point. Did I come close?
It's whatever you take. Again, there's another thing I highly emphasize a lot with everyone I work with, is that there is no right way. This isn't something where it's like, which is again a conditioning of my own growing up, kind of always being like, did I do it right? Is it good? Is it okay? Is it acceptable? And kind
Yeah,
of letting it go, because there's what you get from whatever you're exposed to is exactly what you needed. Um, and in that way is kind of like rewiring our relationship to expectations
yeah.
for ourselves and for other people. Um, and even as you mentioned the bath, I recall the moment from my childhood, like that bath time was my favorite part of the day. And now that I realize it, I was always a very anxious kid, whether or not I showed it internally. And I remember, like, bath time, and this is like 8 years old and older, I would take my time. I would love to fill the tub up with water. My mom always had candles. I would like lotion my body and take my time. And now that I think about it, that was like my own way of doing like a self massage of sorts, not aware of calling it that. Um, and that in essence allowed my nervous system to like reset. I didn't get to do this, let's say, like every single day, but I do remember that being a very vivid memory. I have a lot of memories of me in the bathroom in my own world. And as an adult, even, I have a 10-year-old son and a 5-year-old daughter. I am,
It's your
uh,
only personal
I was doing
time.
this program at One Spirit, right? Like this interspiritual program that's very, it was a combination of everything. It's a complete, I have no words for it. There's no word that can encapsulate that experience. But I've always done multiple things at once, and kind of being able to acknowledge, right, that I am holding all these things, right? And sometimes I needed to stretch or expand my capacity to hold, so that I am not kind of feeling it like a weight. Like I
Mhm.
remember my son drew this picture of me, really in his own process. I got him this book about anxiety, and it said like, "Who have you seen that's anxious?" And of course, he drew a picture of his mother, wearing my massage therapy T-shirt right here, my business shirt, and holding up this like literally like this, holding up a sign, and it said "Mom" across from it. Right. So for me, that's like, one, that he's so perceptive and that he sees how I am holding this role. And it was a reminder for me to like step into whatever things I'm doing without attachment to the roles, without that over concern of like, am I doing it right? And without feeling or just allowing the feelings to just come and feel them, move through me. Because it's never a line, it's always a circle, and things shift and things, change. And it was in those moments of kind of, there's been various points in the last like 10 years where I've had peak stress moments. And in those peak stress moments, like I constantly found myself remembering a time where I wasn't feeling that way, or looking at a picture of me in a trip in South Africa where I was just like hanging on a cliff in this beautiful backdrop, and like, what did my body feel in that moment? Like, how was my spirit feeling in those moments? Where was I emotionally in my thought process, right? So in essence, kind of remembering that I've felt balance before, that I've felt, right, that divine spark, that I felt very aligned and anchored, and kind of bringing myself back, not to that moment, right? Because it's not about holding on to the past in that way, but about remembering that we are full of resources. We have so many inner resources. And that's the one thing that, like, for example, systems of oppression, which some people are becoming more aware of, that's how they benefit, right? From basically cutting your roots off, uprooting individuals and communities, in essence, setting up a situation where people are forgetting their divine gifts and forgetting practices that have been part of their lineage, of their family, for a very long time, right? And it gets me thinking a lot I've been reading a lot of Bell Hooks lately, and she talks a lot about the ethic of dominance and how that needs to be replaced with an ethic of love, and what that means. What does that look like? And it can look different for many people, right? Because right now every single person and being, from the ants to the institutions, is being asked to kind of shift somehow, some way, to adapt. And the ways that we're going to show up, or that we have been showing up, should look different, right? There should be diversity within that. That's what diversity truly means to me. It's not when we all show up for the same cause in the same exact way, but when we each acknowledge that, yes, we are interconnected and we're part of this larger system. It's like a matrix, right? A web of sorts, but that within this web, you are the web. You sometimes might be that insect caught in the web, and you're also the spider, right? Like,
Yep.
you are all of that.
Yeah.
um, and again, utilizing all these things like moment to moment as you need them, and allowing yourself to be flexible and to change and to shift and grow, in essence. And that growth requires some tension, requires some discomfort, pain, like that's all that stuff we don't want to embrace is part of it.
And the allowing. I liked that you said all of those things. Those are all very, very important. And I'm glad that you addressed even the bath thing, because I realized I had a judgment about it. And it wasn't really, I just wanted it to be that it was more than one thing, because sometimes the list, that it's seeing what works for you. See,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I liked that you said too, is that it's individual, because I do know that I love baths myself. I actually was really anxious about this little thing I was invited to, and it was really out of my comfort zone, and it was way out of my comfort zone, and I was feeling anxious and worried, and I took a bath beforehand because
Mm-hmm.
warm water actually calms me, and I did the candle thing too, and
Yeah.
so I created my own ritual of comfort, and that happened to be what worked for me at that time. And I know there are lots of different kinds of tools that we have available to us. And so thank you for bringing that up. I really appreciate that. And also just reminding us that to go back to our roots and not allow others to take those things, away from our people, our communities. So that was very helpful as well. Um, you have a tool for us today, and um, I know that you use it in lots of different ways, and I thought that if you would mind going through this particular exercise, and I think you have a specific name for it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll let you
Well,
do
I,
that.
I call it the embodied breath of interconnection. Um, the name doesn't really matter as much as the practice itself, which is inspired by a lot of different things that I've been exposed to over the years. Um, it is based obviously on the perennial, I can never say that word, perennial philosophy of interconnection, right? Like all these different systems from different parts of the world all seemingly agree that we're interconnected, and what is within is also like without and around. Um, Also from like things like qigong or tai chi, which use this combination of breath and movement, and in the syncing of breathing and moving along with your breath, there's like a sync basically between the mind, the heart, or there's a sync between body, mind, spirit, when you're utilizing them, intentionally. um, and it also stems from the fact that for me, like one of the most healing practices that I've engaged with without even knowing it was a thing, just simply dancing and moving.
Mm.
um, Especially doing it intuitively, where it's not like I am told to move a certain way, but that I'm allowing my body to move how it needs to move in the moment. um, and just scanning practices that, for example, Reiki practitioner, I misquoted. I don't know if she's a Reiki practitioner per se, but Carolyn Miss, she's definitely an intuitive doctor, and she talks a lot about scanning. Constant reminder of like, just scan your body, just go through. That she does it utilizing the chakra system, but you could also do a scan however you want. And something that has worked for me is elements, using the elements like earth, fire, water, and air, because they each are the building blocks, all of them together. There's really no separation, but for the sake of our mind and how we understand things, we have to categorize and label and dissect. Um, so yeah, each element has its own properties, right? Earth is more about the body or matter, what's physically here, what's practical, what's pragmatic. Fire is more about literally heat, right? So transformation, movement. When you think of fire, the flames are always kind of just moving. And it connects to, specifically when it comes to an embodied practice, to your sensations. So like what you're listening, yes, your senses, but sensations as in, are you feeling, like right now, like my fingertips are cold, right? But I'm feeling warmth here in my chest area. Maybe you feel some numbness or tingling, right? That's all part of the fire element, for the sake of this practice. And then water, which deals more with the emotional landscape, um, the flow of fluid in your body, and also stillness, right? Because water can be very still. And then finally, wind, which represents like communication, your breath, your literal breath, like it's going in and out, right? Your breath is it's the first thing that happens when you're, out of the womb. You take this deep breath.
Yeah.
is the last thing that happens when you die, right? Like there is an exhale at death. I haven't witnessed anyone die, but based on those that I have, that's exactly what everyone shares, that there's this kind of like release, like a letting go. So when it comes to wind too, it's especially now in these times that we're in, the wind to me also represents the throat, like the voice vibration, and our necks and throats. And this, for the purpose of this practice too, as whoever is witnessing or following along, to be mindful of what is going on between the head and the heart is the neck, right, and the shoulders, and to kind of check in to see where you're holding tension, where you're feeling stuck, because I see the neck as the bridge between our minds and hearts, right, between the divinity or the cosmos or whatever is up here, and the more grounded, right, as the using, even visualizing the body as a bridge between heaven and earth, for lack of better terms.
I like that.
And the neck being symbolic of that, right? And right now kind of fueling into like our personal power of the solar plexus in our stomach, right? Moving into our hearts, like our heart's yearning. What is your heart wanting to voice, right? Voice. What is your heart yearning for, right? And being able to move that energy through your body and out. As it's happening right now, right? With a lot of people speaking out against injustices happening. Or even to speaking out for your own self as your truth in relationship to other, like what is true for you, and being able to hold space for communication, for authenticity, which to me doesn't just mean like what's authentic to you as like what's original or natural to you, but also your whole self. How are you showing up with your shadows and wounds, and with your light and your gifts, as one. So yeah, that was a long-winded explanation for
It
this.
was it was beautiful. I loved every minute of it. I think it adds more meaning to the practice, in knowing all of those things, and in bringing the awareness and the presence there to what's going on. So thank you for that gift. That was a gift all by itself. So thank you for that.
Welcome. Thank you. So for this practice, do you want me to just lead it right now, or
Sure. Yeah,
do whatever you want?
Yeah.
So this is a practice that can be done either sitting or standing, so you can choose. I encourage you all to move as you feel the need to make each movement your own. And even as I mentioned, each element to see how your body wants to embody that element. And also kind of like, again, the breath is a key part to it. So become aware when you do stop breathing, or if your breath is pausing, or where you're like, oh, I'm focused on the movement and not on the in and out, the exchange of breath that's happening. So we'll start in stillness. So whether you're standing or sitting, you can keep your eyes open or closed. There's always options. I invite you to do as you need to. And as you take a deep breath in, making sure the breath goes all the way into your hips, your low back. And then breathing out, and even stretching the exhale if you can. And become aware of your feet on the floor if you're standing, or your buttocks on the chair and how it's being held and supported. And just envision roots growing from your sacrum, from your hips, down through your legs, through the concrete, through the floor, through the layers of rock, connecting you to the core of the earth. And as you envision your roots kind of plugging into the earth's womb or core, I invite you to use your breath to draw in earth energy, like from the ground into your body on your inhale. And on your exhale, this energy expands within your body, within your cells, into your heart. We'll do a few more cycles of that breath, breathing in absorption, Breathing out, expansion. And now become aware of your crown. And just visualize standing under, a shower of golden light. Or simply just vision light coming from the sky into your body. And just the same with your breath, you breathe in the light and you breathe out expansion within your being, within your cells. So with this breath, we're moving from the formlessness into form within our bodies. And you can take your hands, whichever, right or left, doesn't matter, and just create spirals at your heart, just circles, with the intention to intermingle this earth energy and cosmic energy in your body. And then you're gonna extend that into your hands, into your arms. And here we'll draw in or call upon the element of earth. And I invite you to kind of move your body as you brush your body from head to toe, however you like. And in this brushing is with the intention of, one, stimulating your skin, becoming aware that you're present in this body, that you're rooted to this earth. And you can brush from head to toe and just take your time. This is a practice that you can take 30 minutes to do, or you can take 5 minutes to do. And as you continue to brush, inviting the element of earth, be mindful of your breath. And now we call upon the element of wind. And as you're feeling wind within your body, I invite you to just move. So if you're standing or sitting, if you kind of just allow your body to sway or to circle or spiral, you can go in different directions. Almost as if you are a deeply rooted tree, right? And wind is coming. I mean, wind doesn't move the tree in the same way, it moves the branches, but allow your body to kind of sway in that way. It's like when mothers rock their babies, and it's very soothing. And as we invite the element of wind, I invite you to place one hand on your throat, whichever. Take a deep breath, and on your exhale, just make any sound that feels appropriate to you or that you need. So it could be like an exhale, it could be grunting, it could be humming, whatever you feel you need. And then invite the element of fire. And just pay attention to the sensations in your body. You can move like fire. Maybe you just want to hold stillness and check in on the heat within you. Energy in itself is friction, it's electricity, there's heat. Sense if there's any vibrations that you're sensing into your own heartbeat, the rhythm. The fire of passion, of love, of purpose, all lies within that heart space, inciting us to move, to take action. I invite you to massage your ears, and I will turn so you can see. So I'm just grabbing my ears and pulling it down. And this is gentle. This is not too hard, making sure that it's, not extremely painful. If it's a little painful, that's okay, but it should feel soothing. You can also take your fingers, and you can do this at the same time. And we're just creating circles and going up and down. We can bring our hands together, create heat, and put it on our eyes lightly, covering our eyes, our upper cheeks, our foreheads. Now we can invite the element of water into our scan. And like water moving like waves, you can also again move. You can involve your limbs in this movement of like water, or creating like infinity symbols. You can also hold stillness, right? Whatever you feel you need. And just scan a bit how you are feeling, right? What emotions have been coming up for you? How do you feel in your womb space? And when I say womb space, it's not just for female bodies. Male bodies also have womb spaces and energy, right? The sacral. And continue breathing. Just check in with yourself, reiterating the affirmation, I am sacred, I am present in this body, I am rooted to this earth. I invite you to hold stillness for a few moments. I invite you to scan your body once again, just kind of checking in with yourself from head to toe, checking in to see where you may be still holding, what areas feel open, what areas feel neutral. Just simply taking a moment to be without doing anything at all. You can end with your hands in prayer or your hands at your heart. And thank you so much for moving with me to the rhythms of our bodies, of our souls, of our spirit. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. That was beautiful. I feel very rooted and calm. I like scanning because then you can feel where the problems are. So thank you. What a beautiful tool. I appreciate this very much. And I learned so much in just this short amount of time. So my friends, Jocasta has lots of other tools for you too, and she's going to tell you where you can learn more about her and what she's doing in this beautiful world, as a minister as well as all the other lovely tools. So where can we find you?
Yeah, I'm in the process of creating a site that is consolidating all the things I'm offering. But for now, you can find me at Casa Healing, and that's Casa spelled with a K. I will plug it in to the comment box. casahealing.genbook.com.
Okay.
You can also find me at Jocasta, YOKASTA.amtamembers.com. Again, I'll plug all that information in. And there you'll find more information on my offering. So yes, I offer massage therapy and Reiki, and I always combine these two practices. It's a combination, again, of a lot of different things. I'm also offering distance Reiki for now because of, the pandemic.
Yeah.
I am not seeing clients in person, but I am able to, through either a video conference like this or a phone call, to guide you specifically through an embodied practice of your own, through readings. I use a lot of divination systems, and being able to do Reiki distance Reiki. I am trying to remember what else I was going to share.
Well, you can definitely put whatever, in the comments below. So if you think of what else you would like to offer, just please put that in the comments. And we just really appreciate your being with you today. being part
Yeah.
of your wonderful spirit and all that you shared with us today. So thank you again for
Thank
being
you.
here.
My pleasure.
Uh, really appreciate you. And to my friends out there, may you find the gold in you because you are amazing and beautiful. May you find the gold in others because look at all the beauty that they get to share with us. And may you
Hmm.
find the beauty in every day. God bless you all.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.